Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, wherever you are in Canada, in the US, across the world, I guess. We have a great show today. Super stoked. Produce Talks back from 2021. So we've got a great lineup of people that are going to be joining us today. And obviously, I'm Jay Ashton, the Business Resource and Brand Activation Manager. I got to get my glasses on, apologize. Here we go. But anyways, we're going to have a great show. Lots of stuff to talk about when it comes to produce. We got TJ is back from a while ago. So I'm going to introduce him. And then we've got Rindy from Saskatoon that's going to talk a little bit. Apparently she's a total produce expert and knowledge. I was going to say geek, hey, Rindy. But we're going to have her on here this soon. And then we have a customer joining us here today at the very end of the show to talk a little about their story, a little bit about produce. So great stuff. So anyways, welcome TJ to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Good to be back. It's been a while. Yeah,
it's been
I don't think there was snow on the ground last time we had you on the show.
Well, in Calgary, I think there was a little bit, but it was probably gone the next week and then back again the week after. But that's how she goes.
That's how it goes, right? So awesome. Well, you know what? We have awesome. So just before we get started here, TJ, just some housework. We love housework all the time, or I don't know what else we call it. But if you have comments or questions, please, we have a comment bar. We are going to answer and ask. We love questions. We're going to hopefully answer them all. When we bring Rindy in, we're going to have more questions, I'm sure, for her. But throw them up there. We'll be able to put them up onto the screen. We'll do the best to answer them. And also, if after today you didn't make it or you're not here and you want to watch today's show, we are now on demand on Cisco.ca site. Just go there, check out the virtual shows, and we have all the shows, 150 shows up there, 151 shows, and this one will be 152 up on our on-demand channel. So there'll be tons of stuff there you can binge watch. I know TJ binge watch all the time. I think Rindy's going to as well. But definitely we want to have you up there and watching all the shows you can. So anyways, let's talk produce. TJ, what's happening right now, 2021?
What is happening?
All messy. Let's talk produce. What's happening in the produce world right now?
A lot of different things. Things are always changing in the produce world. So, I mean, our number one impact is obviously weather. Like that's the number one thing that we pretty much are always dealing with because we grow produce outside. Today we're going to talk about some lettuce that's grown indoors. But right now, the main concern with the majority of produce coming out of California, Arizona and the Yuma region, northern Mexico, they're seeing below average temperatures, which are causing a lot of aches and pains for the growers down there. Also dealing with the levels of which, the planting levels at which they're growing, trying to deal with COVID and dealing with that certain demand. So what's happening through this entire pandemic is that the growers will plant product, and then we don't have an end user for that product. So the growers need to pull back on what they're doing and plant a little bit less, which can cause what we consider a market condition. So market condition can be based because they get the colder weather. They could have, there's my lovely dog right over there. They could have the weather can really impact and hamper the growth if it's too cold. If it's too hot, it does another adverse effect where it would cause rapid growth, where we see a lot of imperfect produce and a lot of defects in produce. So that's pretty much what's going on. I mean, I think the main one is everybody trying to work through the different levels of business that we're currently seeing that are all based on the pandemic measures that are in each specific region. So, yeah.
So TJ, so I'm a restaurant right now in Canada. What do you want to tell me? What do I got to do right now?
What do you have to do? Well, I would honestly, in Canada, look at buying local. Even in the US as well, look at buying local, what local options you have. Stick to buying seasonal produce, right? That's probably the most important one. Try to look at your core items. So what are your top 5, top 10 items? Look at your produce when you receive it or when you're checking it, if you buy it, if you go pick it up at the store. Make sure you're really analyzing and understanding where did the product come from, what you're buying, the price you're paying for it. Because even though we're in a pandemic and there's all these things facing us, there's still really good deals out there or really great market pricing on items that are in season. So root vegetables, potatoes, carrots, onions, all types of items like that.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know this, but you said local, and I went, oh. A lot of people go, oh, we don't buy local. Cisco's not local. Can you just kind of maybe jump on that a little bit?
For sure.
And now you only get 1 minute because that's a 50-minute answer.
1 minute. I can do it in 1 minute for sure. So when we talk about local, whenever any Cisco site is purchasing produce or we're looking to procure produce, it only makes sense for us to look within our region or what's close to us. So our carrots, I live in Calgary. We purchase our carrots for Western Canada out of Manitoba. It just makes sense because of transportation to ship it from a close region to our facility, just to reduce obviously the greenhouse emissions we're putting in through transportation, putting in through the environment, but also it just makes sense to keep the costs at a reasonable level. So, whenever I think about local, it's kind of whatever is grown in your immediate surrounding provinces or immediate surrounding states. And most sites do that. So even though an item might be packed in a Cisco branded box, the carrots can come from Manitoba, as I mentioned. The potatoes could come from Alberta. Beets could come from Alberta. We get beets and potatoes out of BC. So we try to stick to as much local as possible as it pertains to the season. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good, that was good. I was going to say, you only spend a little bit of time on that, right? So what this spring's coming up here. We got the industry is going to come back extremely strong.
Yes.
We're very positive. We got a lot of great things happening. A lot of people are working on. Is there what they should be working on their menu for the spring and summer? Any advice there?
Honestly, I think it's just if everybody can stay that 30 days out, like be thinking you're planning of 30 days out so that you can stay consistent with what health measures are in place for your region. That's probably the most important one. Making sure that you're looking at takeout alternatives and takeout options. So even though you might have a customer placing an order for you might sell a pasta dish or you're selling them a steak, look at other options to sell them maybe some groceries, make small meal kits for them. Different types of options. We have Super Bowl coming up. You can easily put together a guacamole kit or a nacho kit, anything like that to increase the sales to the customers. But also as we push into spring, I've sort of mentioned that there's a little bit of there's going to be some issues when it comes to how the growers and I'm talking about all the growing regions. It doesn't really matter where we're talking about. We're talking Mexico, North America, pretty much, and where we would pull the produce. All the growers are struggling with what sort of demand that they need to plant. So if they don't understand what sort of demand is going to be on an item, like how much of one item they're going to need, they're gonna pull back a bit so that they're not incurring a loss. What that causes is, as you mentioned, Jay, we come back fast and furious. What's going to happen is there's going to be a very large increased demand for very specific items. Can I tell you what those items would be right now? Not really, because we have to kind of go like that every 30-day kind of window. We're really kind of coming out of this cold weather pattern out in the south. They had some hurricanes that went through Central America that really hampered pineapples, bananas, and melons. So there's pretty much always a challenge or a struggle with produce, but sort of goes back to what I was saying. Try to stay seasonal. That's always important. Look at your local options. And of course, always inspect your produce.
Awesome. Good advice. Great advice. So what we're going to do, because we could talk all day about produce with TJ, we would definitely want Rindy in here. She's just giddy from Saskatoon, hanging out there. I can see her in the green room. But so we're going to cut to a quick commercial about Foodies Unite. You know what? If you don't know anything about Foodies Unite, go to foodiesunite.ca. We got it right there on the screen. Check it out. We all have to unite, support the industry through these times. But we're going to cut to a quick commercial if I can find it here, and then we'll be right back. And we'll be right back with Rindy.
Restaurants are the shared kitchens and dining rooms of our communities. Beyond the basic purpose of restaurants to provide food and drink, restaurants fulfill a human need for connection and shape relationships. Acquaintances become friends around a table, and major life events are celebrated in restaurants. They bring us together. It's where memories are created. Despite the seemingly endless amount of obstacles that continue to come its way, Canada's food and beverage community continues to provide ways to support other Canadians. It's time for us to unite and do good for the industry, for the hard-working foodies who fuel our love for food. That's why we've started Foodies Unite, to celebrate local restaurants and to encourage our community members to show them some support. We want to spread the love of food coast to coast. Foodies Unite is all about supporting local restaurants and making a positive impact on the industry. Our primary goal is to help restaurants by encouraging Canadians to order, post, and share their experiences with their networks and beyond. So now's your chance to join the movement and help us spread the word by using hashtag Foodies Unite and encouraging your customers and followers to get involved.
That was lovely, eh?
That was great.
That's awesome. I love our commercials, by the way. Best part of my show. Anyways, Rindy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jay.
Awesome. So Saskatoon snowstorm. We
You
won't
bet.
talk about that too much. But apparently, and you can ask Rindy any question about produce and she can answer it. It's like trivia. It's awesome. So please send her questions and comments when we talk about. But Rindy, let's talk about the industry right now. Let's talk about what you do. Where are you from? Like, what do you do? Let's talk a little about what you do.
What do I do? I am part of the team of Whole Leaf, which is part of the Star Group, Star Produce, Star Group of companies based out of Saskatoon, but our presence is felt across Western Canada. So we have a network of greenhouses, we have orchards in the Okanagan, we have processing floors in Calgary and Winnipeg. So, we're touching produce. And we're, hoping to be side by side with the team at Cisco for sure. So I mainly focus on our greenhouse in southern Alberta that grows all types of leafy greens 365 days a year.
Awesome. So let's talk greenhouse. I got a lot of questions, and maybe a lot of our viewers and stuff like that today that'll be watching this does too. But so what does greenhouses bring when it comes to me as a restaurant? Why should I know? Sorry.
Yeah, no, greenhouses are, super important to not only our food sustainability, but also, Canadians and the Canadian food production being self-sufficient. So I'm sure lots of people have heard about vertical greenhouses where you're getting your microgreens from, or you're getting your baby leaf from. We are all familiar with beefsteak tomatoes or tomatoes on the vine, which 20 years ago were a new thing, and now those are just commonplace in back of house and in the kitchen. So greenhouse is becoming so much more important, and the reasons being is there's a few things. It's sustainable. So we use about 90% less water to grow a head of our lettuce than what they can grow in the field. In terms of space, in the 12 acres that we have in southern Alberta, you would need 616 acres outside in a field to grow the same amount of lettuce, as well as uniformity, consistency, and again, so important for restaurants and for chefs, freshest flavor. And you can get flavor out of the greenhouse, whether it's a tomato, it's a pepper, and even lettuce.
Cool. So from your perspective, Rindy, by the way, you have the coolest name
Thank you.
in the world, is what should I, from your perspective, be thinking about when I'm thinking about produce in my menu right now in a restaurant?
So I'm going to go back to what TJ said. TJ said, can you source local? He talked about, carrots from Manitoba, sugar beets out of Alberta, potatoes out of Tabor, corn out of Tabor, pears and apples and cherries out of BC. So many things we can grow in Canada and that are available year round or from storage and whatnot. So go local when you can. We know that consumers want to support local. When you support local, you're supporting your neighbors, you're supporting your friends. And Inspired Greens is here to, help those customers and those customers at Sysco's and those restaurants be able to provide local on their menus year round.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So we do have a question. So it says, can you ask Rindy? So I'm going to ask you, Rindy.
Okay.
What do you consider to be the most flavorsome specialty leaf to use in recipes right now?
We are definitely seeing, a trend towards peppery. People want flavor, and not only that, but people want health. So now with COVID, you've seen a major shift in retail purchasing, and I'm sure you've seen it in the food service industry as well, where people are super conscious about what they're putting in their bodies because they want to build their immunity. And so something like cress, watercress is what most people know it, is your 100% of your daily value of vitamin K. Watercress has been known to help reduce hangovers, if you might have one of those. It also helps, it's got antioxidants for cancer fighting agents. And there's so many other health benefits of this superfood that we're looking at putting into some of our blends. We do it in retail, we do it in a food service pack, and we can offer that to customers. So
now that is, I'm assuming, because we're all going to eat healthier after this thing, right? And functional foods, we see a lot of importance on functional foods, a lot of healthy and stuff like that. Is there a balance between the amount of produce I put on a menu coming up, or I should be thinking about adding more, reducing the amount of, maybe high carb dishes and stuff like that on menus coming forward? Any advice in that area?
I think the more produce, the better. We know that the Canadian Produce Marketing Association goes in with half your plate. Half your plate should be produce. You get so many vitamins, minerals, and benefits by eating more produce. And of course, have your protein. We're prairie people, so we need to have our protein. And if you don't choose to have protein in your diet, you can definitely get those things from lentils and legumes and beans and all of those other, non-meat items. But I think for operators, for chefs, the more produce, the better. Can you co-brand with someone locally like us? Can you have inspired greens on your menu and show your customers that you're supporting local? We know that 49% of consumers have meal fatigue. It's setting in. Nobody wants to cook at home. I'm done with cooking at home.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. So you know what? I'm going to phone my favorite restaurant. And if they can get me their one-of-a-kind sauce, if they can get me, their steak seasoned just right, and they can add, a great salad. I mean, I want restaurateurs to think about not just using any old leafy green for their salad. That's the base of a salad. And so get a great tasting green, get something that's bright, get something that's glossy, get something that's lofty, and, just makes you can't wait to dig in.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that's why we got to get out there, support the restaurants,
You bet.
do a little takeout. Now let's talk a little bit about, we got a great question here, but I want to talk a little bit about that whole takeout thing. Any advice on produce and takeout in delivery?
Keep it fresh. Fresh is flavor. Keep it fresh, keep it rotating, and order what you need to use in a day. And also look at, Cisco's got a great, huge assortment of value added. So, there's the old saying that value added doesn't call in sick. And so be able to use that, work with your Cisco teammate on how you can use value added to your advantage. So in terms of inspired greens and inspired leaves, we are the only North American greenhouse lettuce that is washed and ready to use. So we are ready to use. You can open it up and we are 100% yield. And then we also offer the whole head assortment in a living format. And there's a great story that came out of small town Saskatchewan from one of the Cisco marketing associates. And unfortunately, the restaurant had lost the box in the back of their cooler. They had found it 3 weeks later, and because it was upside down, and found it 3 weeks later, and because it was a root-on living product, stored in the box, stored in the back of the cooler with good humidity, the product was fine. The product was usable. The product was there. The product tasted great. It was a great story that came out. So, the customer and the restaurant wasn't losing any money by having to increase their food waste. They got the use out of the product.
Cool.
And that's one very important part. When we talk about produce, just in general, Rindy had touched on the whole head lettuce and the lettuces that are being produced out of this facility. When we think about it, we think about proximity to market. So how close to, it's already in Canada. So how close is it across Western Canada to get access to this product? So when we talk about this product and we look at this product, it is 100% yielding. So, we're talking about no waste. And if you are losing the waste, we're talking less than 1%. So maybe some bottom leaves, but we're a high yielding product. Again, Rindy touched on it as well. The lettuces that they're doing actually build that lift and loft. And Rindy touched on it. We were chatting about it before. You don't buy a salad because of the dressing that's on it. You're buying it, as Rindy mentioned, you're buying it for the greens. So.
I don't know about you, TJ. Who's drowning their salads nowadays at home? I don't know. But.
Jay, we need to get you some lettuce. I have stopped using dressing. Because lettuce, by growing this lettuce in our greenhouse, I've come to the realization that lettuce actually tastes like something. It's not just a filler or a bowl filler. It has some flavor. It's got great antioxidants. It's got great nutrition for you. We all need to eat more greens or reds.
I agree.
Right?
I totally agree. So if you can answer this question, we have a question here. Can you talk a little bit more about the hydroponic Boston lettuce? Who would mainly use this type of lettuce?
So Boston lettuce is one thing that we actually don't grow anymore in our greenhouse, but I love Boston lettuce. It's often called Boston butter or Bib lettuce, and the typical application for that is lettuce wraps. But we offer an alternative in our green Batavia variety, which has big, broad leaves, and they're strong enough with a small rib so that you can actually put some fixings on it, whether it's your chicken, your noodles, your sauteed veggies. You can pop those on and you can do the low carb thing, the keto thing, and wrap it up and eat the lettuce wraps. I think it's a great option for an appetizer. And I think it's a wonderful option for takeout too, because you can have your fresh on one side and then you can have your warm components on the other side. So green Batavia, again, or the red Batavia that we grow are perfect examples of using it for lettuce wraps. I'll have an example. I actually have one here, and this is our red Batavia. So if you want to liven up your lettuce leaves, here's the great big leaf that you can literally put your fixins on. You can wrap it up and you can eat it. And look at that color. Like, look at that color. If I can get my hairdresser to get me that color on my hair, I'd pay for that.
That's awesome stuff. Yeah. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Well, that is awesome. Great question. That is awesome. That is gorgeous lettuce. Can you show it again?
You bet. So this is our red. This is our bright and juicy red. It's in the blue if you want to check us out at stores. We're at all major retailers across Canada, and you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. And this is our green. It's an amazing, bright, glossy blonde green. And this is our fresh and familiar green. So I've been using this for Caesar salad. It's been awesome. You get the crunchy little bits at the bottom, which we know everybody loves romaine. So pick this up, give it a shot. Give it a shot in your romaine or in your Caesar salad or wherever you would use romaine, and see what you can do.
Yeah, I was going to say with a lot of ranch dressing.
No, I'm sending you some, James.
I think Saskatchewan invented ranch dressing for salads.
Oh, we could. We might have. We had to do something to come back with the Caesar, right? Because Calgary invented the Caesar. So
yes, we did.
You did. So yeah.
One thing I just wanted to touch on this, Jay. Randy had mentioned it. When we talk about the flavor, a lot of the flavor comes from the great work that they've done at this facility through seed selection. And they will not tell you what seeds they're using for any of their lettuce, but exactly to the point of what Randy's talking about. The seed selections were made based on the flavor profiles of the lettuce greens, and they did that across the board with every single lettuce green. So whenever we're purchasing product that maybe is coming out of the US or it's older product, it's going to lose a lot of that flavor. And so it's just really dull and flat. And that's where it's nice to see a great lettuce or a great partner like Star and Inspired Greens producing these amazing heads of lettuce. And just looking at how large they are. So
yeah, I totally agree.
Very remarkable.
Well, I'm gonna run because we got Nick. Nick's in the green room there. He looks pretty excited, and he's in his restaurant, which is just awesome as well. So we're gonna cut to a commercial. You guys can stay, but thanks again, Rindy. Woo, that coffee isn't strong enough today. But thank you again for your insights and being on the show today. And we're gonna cut to another commercial. And we'll be right back with Nick. Here we go.
As your valued and trusted business partner, we understand that you need the freedom and flexibility to choose the way you want to order. Cisco Source allows you to order what you need when you need it on any device. Here's how it works. Select the order button and click on New. Choose to place your order with a customized order guide or with your order history. Click on a product and voila. All the product information that is most important to you is right at your fingertips. Find product photos, benefits, and nutritional facts, and more. Enter the exact quantity you need, then click Preview to review your order. Click submit, and your order is instantly sent to Cisco. With Cisco's industry-leading technology, you can get real-time updates with everything happening with your orders. See your invoices and credit memos all from one place. The Source app has everything you need to easily manage all of your inventory product in the palm of your hand. And when you're ready, click preview to review your total inventory value. Click close inventory to complete the work. So what are you waiting for? Start searching for product, placing an order, and managing your inventory wherever you are. Download the Source app. Cisco Source, start placing your orders with ease and confidence today.
Well, welcome back. That was great, eh? Yeah.
What's
How's it
happening?
going? I am so excited,
Good,
first of all, to see you.
How you guys doing?
We're good.
We're doing great.
Yeah, thanks for
How
having
are
me.
you? How are you doing?
Doing awesome.
That's awesome. Well, thanks again.
Yeah,
We're
pretty good.
super thrilled to be on our show.
Yeah,
Can you
so
hear
it's
us
a little
okay?
bit, yeah, a little bit choppy.
There we go. Might be that big hood fan behind you.
Yeah, it's going, that's for sure.
That's awesome. Well, thanks again for being on the show today. We've got actually quite a few questions for you and stuff like that. But just first of all, do you want to just give us a little bit of what's happening in your world right now? What you've been through? You guys are still rocking it?
Yeah, you know, we've been open, all three of our stores are open now in Calgary. One store that was on 10th Avenue and 8th Street didn't miss a day in COVID. I guess before COVID started, we were already on Uber, Skip the Dishes, DoorDash, Ritual. You know, our own Holy Grail app has over 3,000 downloads. So it's like, you know, when everything shifted to takeout, it just went crazy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Two of our other stores are in yeah, thanks. Two of the other stores are in the plus 15s, like the one I'm in right now. And it's kind of, I don't know, it looks pretty depressing downtown these days, but it helps that we're the only ones open because like yesterday we had 91 walk-ins come through. So that's pretty
91?
91. And some of those walk-ins were, you know, placing an order for 2 or 3 people. So our crew's staying pretty busy, that's for sure. Just looks bad, you know, everything looks so empty.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Yeah,
hearing stories like this, Nick, actually inspires the rest of Canada. They're going to see this, what you're doing to keep going. Because I've had a lot of stories over the last, 10, 11 months, just hearing what people are doing and stuff like that. But to hear what you guys are doing and to keep going, it's outstanding.
oh, thanks, man. Yeah, nothing to brag about, but all the bills are paid, you know?
Hey, that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. That's a great thing to hear. So we got some questions for you.
Yeah, it feels good.
We got some questions for you here, Nick.
Yep.
So today's about produce, right?
Yep.
And we could talk all we can about produce because we can talk about Cisco and what we do here all the time. But it's great to hear from our great customers out there. So why is produce so important to you?
Oh man, well I guess it's really important to me because it's important to our guests and our customers, right? Especially coming off of COVID times where people have probably eaten a record amount of pizza. You know, as you see people coming back to work, it's crazy. Like, you know, produce kind of separates you from lots of our competition for sure.
Yeah, you know what? Looking at your menu, and I know your place quite well. What was I saying? It's the way that you're putting it on your menu. It's like this beautiful varnish of all your dishes. It just highlights everything of what you're doing.
Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying that it's such a highlight of what you're doing on your dishes and everything that you're creating. It stands out. It pops everything.
Yeah, you got to get creative with it too. Like because we specialize in a grilled panini, you know, to shift to a lower carb option or a gluten-free option, Like the gluten-free bread, you can only make it taste so good. You know what I mean? Like it's not the most delicious product out there. So we started to make some of our paninis on a really large collard green. And so you build the panini the same way, and then you wrap it up, and then you put the actual collard green on the grill. And I don't know, they're delicious.
Well, it sounds awesome. So TJ, do you have any questions for Nick? I'm
Yeah.
sure you do.
Yeah, Nick, could you highlight some of the unique, just some of the unique produce items that you use in some of your wraps and paninis? Because exactly like you just said with the collard green, that's very unique, and I think that you've just given away maybe a trade secret, but that's okay. But
Whoops.
you know, just touching on the importance and why the diversity. You're sort of mentioning it, but you know, just what sort of items are you using?
Oh man, well, for inside the panini, we're putting like pickled eggplant and artichokes and sprouts, and we're grilling yams and roasting beets, and oh man, like everything pickled kind of goes as well. You know, our leafy greens, what did we, you know, those, I don't know the actual name of the leaf. I think there's some kind of green leaf lettuce, but you know, it's just such a fantastic product, you know, that you switched us to there, which is with inspired greens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm turning into a fanboy.
Yeah, I'm already there, Nick. So I'm already there. Well, and you touched on some great points there,
Yeah.
right? Like just because of that diversity, you seem to have no fear when it comes to what produce you're willing to put in there, or you're willing to kind of adapt things, like you said, grilling, fermenting, pickling, all types of things. So that's really awesome to hear because you're still adding that
Yeah.
diversity to the menu.
Oh, for sure.
So Nick, do you have any plans of what you're going to do moving forward with the business? You guys are hopefully get open soon.
Yeah, you know, it would be a huge break once they lift the restrictions. Like back in September and October, when they somewhat lifted the restrictions, it got really busy again right away. So, you know, the plan is to stabilize our 3 Calgary locations. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with a landlord at a drive-through location out in Silverado. It's an old Starbucks. Beautiful location. I don't know, like a drive-through just sounds so exciting to us. You know, maybe we'll turn it into like a big homemade burger factory or something along those lines. But yeah, we still want to grow like crazy. You know, I'm not gonna stop until I have 10 restaurants. So
That's awesome, man. Well,
Yeah,
first of all, that is incredible to be able to expand. And I agree, drive-throughs are outstanding, and especially with your quality of food and products that you bring to Calgary.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
that allows me to come down here to drive-through up. So anyways, we just want to thank you. I just want to say, you know what? We're thinking of all of our customers, all of our industry, all of our restaurants here at Sysco, and we just appreciate you, what you're doing. You're inspiring others to keep going. You know what? We're all in this together, obviously, but it's something to hear and to see all these customer of ours and these restaurateurs with a smile on their face after what you guys have been through. It's been incredible. So I just can't thank you enough.
Oh, well, you guys too. I can't imagine, you know, all of the inventory that you guys have when everybody shut down. So
Yeah,
Tough
it's
times.
been a challenge, absolutely. But we're just proud to have you on today. First of all, to be on my show, but also to be able to share across Canada and across the world of what you're doing. So, all the best to you as we move forward. And we'll definitely make sure that we check out your products. You can go to holygrill.ca. You can go check them out. Walk up, delivery, skip the dishes, Uber Eats. I think you guys do it all, right?
Yeah, we sure do. One last
Excellent.
question.
You bet, Nick.
What did Rindy say was the green that was good for a hangover? Which one was it?
It's cress, and I'm telling you, I don't know from
Cress.
experience. Yeah. So crest, we grow it upland
Okay.
crest, and you bet you can talk to TJ.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Nick, that's a menu. That's a marketing dream right there, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to
Your
say that needs
hangovers.
to go on the menu for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
That is
great as
awesome.
a soup too, so I'd love to see it.
That is awesome. Well, Nick, all the best.
Yeah.
Keep
cool.
it going. We, like I said, we sure
Yep.
appreciate being on the show today. And we'll, you know what, as soon as we can move and come down, I'll be visiting. And can't wait to see you guys open back up and get dining in again.
Yeah.
So thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Peace out.
Awesome. Excellent. To everyone else, join us. We are going to be back more and more. Next Monday, we actually are doing a show with Bocuse Canada. For the first time, we actually are going to bring in Elvin, Ned Bell. We got celebrity chefs are going to be joining us to showcase their amazing ideas when it comes to salmon. Salmon and salad looks good together, right, TJ? And obviously, you definitely want to check that out. And then we have customer stories like Nick's on Wednesday and Thursday next week as well. So got to check it out. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, watch on demand, Cisco.ca. We also have all of our shows up on that channel as well. But yeah, thanks again for everyone joining today, and get out there and support the industry. Check out Foodies Unite site on Cisco.ca and all the great stuff that we're doing for the industry and all the great things the industry is doing and all of our customers. It's amazing. So get out there and support our industry. So thanks again, Randy. Enjoy your snowstorm.
I will.
TJ, we'll talk soon. Everyone else, have a great rest of your day.